Join Sean and Brad as they talk about sports and share a beer. From the east coast of Canada to the west coast of the United States. Over to you, boys.
Everybody, what's happening? What's good with you? It's Sean and Brad, Guys Beer Sports, episode 15, season 2, or season 2, episode 15, depends on how you want to read it. We are here. We're talking about, this will probably be a sad show for Sean. So we're going to talk about the demise of his Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
With an actual Montreal Canadiens fan. So stand by for that. Plus, whatever else is going on in the world. So we'll touch on those things. Sean, how are you?
I'm great, man. How you doing?
Well, it's a beautiful Saturday here in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, I can't complain over here either. It's been pretty nice over there. We just got over a heat wave, so can't complain. Yeah, it was pretty warm. Yeah. Why don't you say a big shout out to our sponsors there?
Yeah, Flyers Brewery, corner of, what is that now, would be in Highway 20. Open, ready to go. Service is still great. Beer is still cold and fantastic as always. So go see those fellas and gals over there. Thanks for participating in our voyage. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. Smooth My Balls. Hey, works. Used it. We're going to be writing a nice write-up on it there coming up this week. Go to www.smoothmyballs.guysbeersports.com and use the code guysbeersports to save 15%. Your boys are going to love you.
So much that he shaved his head too after he did it, but he forgot to do the lineup still. So we got that going.
Man, oh man.
Maybe you should do the Drake thing and carve the little heart into the hairline there in the corner.
Man, I still thinking that Drake showed up to one of these games somehow, man. Listen, I ended up bringing, because I have my beer, but I ended up bringing, of course. There we go.
He's not working there. Yeah.
Some Wayne Gretzky, number 99. Some nice whiskey for this conversation because it might just have to end up getting cryish and everything. So,
okay. Well, if we go cryish, we're gonna let it go over 3 minutes and then we're turning it off.
Yes, he's coming back. This is his third appearance, and he is waiting to be let. He's going to be let loose on us here, Mr. Ryan Robalkin. Whenever you feel ready to unveil yourself.
All right, sorry. Yeah, thanks, guys. I can't believe this is my third appearance. Okay, so let me just get myself situated here. Okay, I think I'm ready. Is my cam not working? Oh no, it's not working. Actually, this is bad news. Let me see if
it's quite the makeover.
Hey, keep talking. I think so. Just so people know, I just got back from sailing, and all my stuff was put away, and I had like 3 hours sleep for this recording. But you guys keep talking what you got to talk about, and I'll be right back.
Okay. Excuses. We'll see you as soon as we see you, and I look forward to seeing your face.
I do. I something tells me he's got something like head to toe Habs. I don't know.
So where are we at with let's talk the playoffs, since I think that's where Ryan's going to fly in here. Mm-hmm. Ryan's the rare sports fan who only follows his team, and it's still fascinating to me that's how it works. But good for him.
What was that action? That action photo there was awesome with your Montreal stuff there.
Oh, sorry. My camera wasn't working. I think it's working now. Is it?
Oh, yeah, you're great. I could see you in high def. Oh, yeah. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Now, were you guys talking about hockey? Sorry, what was going on?
We were talking about what happened to your volume there? We just can't hear you again there. What's going on?
Oh, am I back now? Sorry.
You're back. There you go.
I'm a disaster. I'm an absolute disaster this morning. I apologize. I don't want to ruin your show. It seems like every time I'm on your show, I wreck the flow, and I apologize.
You're good. You're always better with it. We're good with this. We were talking about goaltenders and Sean's inability to recognize a good one.
Before we get into the Vegas, I know you guys were briefly talking about Vegas and the Habs third round play of hockey. Before we get into that, Sean, I believe our last time we were talking, I was going to listen to the episode, last one I was on, but I'm pretty confident you were, like most Leaf fans, crowning yourselves Kings of the North midway through the season. You were planning the parade. There was actually a Toronto headline, and I believe the headline read, "It's not a question of when. It's a question of how many." This is referring to how many Stanley Cups the Toronto Maple Leafs will hoist. I think it should now be changed to, it's not a question of when, but it's a question of how many first-round knockouts we can expect for the next 20 or 30 years. Montreal, this is our third, just so you guys know, this is our third conference appearance in 11 years.
Yeah, 11 years. 2010, you guys made it all the way there with Camilleri and Yaroslav Halak. When's the last time after that?
2014.
Was it 2014?
Yeah, that's when we
in 2014.
We got run over by that Krieger, is it? New York Rangers. Rode over Price, and say what you will, it was our star player. And let me say something about the star player. People that say, "Oh, you're only winning because of Price," well, isn't that what star players do? It's a weird argument to me. And so,
it's
Sean,
a dumb argument. It's a dumb argument. Here's the thing. I said it right off the bat. I said I fear Carey Price in this series. I totally did. Brad,
100% did not say that till Game 7. He 100% did not say.
What a guy! That's not even true. I said that it was going to go 7 games.
Ryan.
I was the only one that said it was going to go 7 games.
No, it was a sweep, and then it was we're going to win it in 5, and then it was in 6.
I told you,
and it was in 7.
That if Montreal won the first game, it's going 7. I said that.
Okay, fair enough.
And Montreal won the first game.
He said that Mr. Price is how we should refer to him from here on out.
I said I feared
was
Carey
a terrible
Price.
Goalkeeper that was almost on waivers and whose team didn't believe in him. No, this is all you said. All these things on tape. And
I never said he was a terrible goaltender. I did say he was on. You did say he was on waivers. I did say the Montreal media was running him out of the team already, running him out of the city. Now he's Saint. He's
you
Saint.
Back really fast. You're going to go right through that logo, Sean.
What? Woo!
Okay, so in all seriousness, because I think there might be a couple people listening to this episode who I'm going to tag the Habs podcast that I listened to, and maybe they'll listen to this episode because they're Habs. Yeah, a lot of them. Yeah, there's some Canadian Navy guys. So a shout out to those guys.
Blaine's a friend of the show. Yeah.
Oh, great.
I have a lot of Montreal fans that are friends of the show, and
and Sean,
I'm big enough to at least eat my crow.
Yeah.
Well, we know that you're big enough to eat anything. So, but the point is, I do have some legit questions for you. I want to have a mature discussion about the collapse of your team. I do want to know though, as a true Leafs fan, did Toronto lose or did the Habs win? And if the Toronto lost, then explain how we swept the Jets. Go.
Listen, the
Habs
won.
I got to jump in. First of all, you said a true Leafs fan. I don't know that Sean qualifies.
Oh my goodness! Yes, I am. I complain about them every year. I think that I'm already planning the cup. I planned the cup parade already, but I complain about the team that they're putting out there.
Here's the thing, though. As soon as he lost, he goes, "You know what? I'm gonna call Ryan and see if he'll send me a Doug Gilmour Montreal Canadiens sweater."
That's not what I said. I said I wonder if he would. I said that's the only jersey I would wear for Montreal Canadiens. The Doug Gilmour.
The fact that you were considering it takes me out of running. Anyway, answer Ryan's question, please.
Okay, so I will say this: it's a 2-pronged question for me. All right, there's 2-pronged answer here. Okay, Montreal won; they were the better team. By game 5 and game 6, they already proved that they were the better team. The Leafs lost. Do you want to know why the Leafs lost?
Please.
Because they decided and they folded up in game 7, just as I knew that they were going to fold up in game 7.
They did.
They folded up in game 7. When you come back twice.
Why though? Why did they do that?
Because Montreal trounced their spirits. You come back twice, especially that second one in game 6, and you're leading the shots on Carey Price, and Carey Price is making saves he has no business making. And right off the bat, in that game 1 with Mitch Marner, when he came across that gaping net, put his stick out and blocked him, and you just saw Mitch Marner look up to the heavens like, hockey gods, where have you gone? You know, that already got into his head. After that, he was a complete wreck. Austin Matthews, forget about it. Listen, you want to know where your leadership came from, Toronto? Came from the guys, and yes, Brad, it was one of the people that I ended up, I was very upset about the signing of Joe Thornton. But Joe Thornton looked good out there. Jason Spezza looked like Jason Spezza from 2004. And losing Jake Muzzin
special episode just on the signing of Joe Thornton, how terrible it was.
How terrible it was. I did. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I think we won the department of drafting or picking up veteran players.
You picked up good veteran players, but here's the thing: is that you let Kotkaniemi and Caulfield sit up there in the stands in game 1 and game 2.
That was a mistake.
No, it wasn't a mistake. That was good.
You think so?
I do. I think that was actually brilliant. Just having them have a look and see what's going on the ice out there. and then just getting them salivated and ready to go.
Maybe, yeah, sure, yeah, because they came in. They came in angry.
They were like on raw meat, man. It was like, geez, these guys are, and they're energized.
In the playoffs is very important, and that's what Montreal has that Toronto did not have.
Yeah.
So, do I get a little bit of credit this week for my prediction on how things were going to go?
As far as
with the Colorado Avalanche not being that good and getting knocked out of the playoffs.
Yeah. Hey, I said it earlier on the podcast, way earlier, about Philip Grubauer just being a run-of-the-mill goaltender. This is what happens when you don't have goaltending. This is what happens when you have a player that's suspended for 8 games as well. So Vegas is too good of a team, too deep of a team. They got a great goaltender. They took care of business. What about those Islanders? I also said that was a dark horse team.
Yep.
To be coming out of there.
We both agreed to that going into the first round there. So.
Mm-hmm. And
I think if we're keeping track now, I'm pretty sure that I have three of the 4.
Well, you called Montreal as well?
Yeah, remember, just out of spite. I just got it out of spite.
I think you did. See, yeah, you're pretty good there right now. Yeah, 3 out of 4.
3 out of 4 is not bad. Sorry, Reed.
Yeah. Although I think you were going for Boston, right? So you were talking about Boston.
Sorry, Reed. But yeah, I had Tampa and I had Boston, Vegas, and Montreal were my 4.
What I can't get over, what I'm really psyched about, is this Vegas-Montreal series, because there's so many great parallels to that series. So many great trades has happened between those two teams. And you're about to see it now unfold. Okay, they're actually calling it the Max Pacioretty Cup. You know what, Mark? You kept yourself out. That hit was egregious and shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, it was gross to watch. I saw it maybe twice. I couldn't watch anymore, but it's actually kind of gross to watch.
Yeah. But you know what I'm thinking right now, Ryan? Okay, I'm going to be honest with you, is that this is the beginning of a dynasty.
The Habs?
Yes, this is the beginning of a dynasty. This looks exactly
I told you wanted a sweater. I told you one sweater.
This is very eerily similar to a certain team in the NFL that nobody gave any sort of, they thought, no way, not with this rookie goaltender, not with this rookie quarterback, not with all this. Then they invented the tuck rule. I mean, a couple of fluky things here, things there. He beats Kurt Warner, beginning of a dynasty. Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. So Cole Caulfield and Kotkaniemi, beginning of a dynasty. Who knows?
I believe it at the very least. And let me oddly temper your excitement about my team. It's just because
I'm frustrated, but I can at least recognize what I'm seeing. I'm seeing 1993 play all in front of me again.
Yeah, there is a bit of magic in the air. So this is me speaking as a Habs fan. I'm 45 years old. I was 17 years old when they won the Cup in 93. So I remember it very well. I was only 11 years old when they won in 86.
Stop rubbing it in my face. I'm
not doing this to rub it in your face. I'm telling this to tell your audience.
Your team won a cup?
Thank you, Brad. I already said that. You're a little late to the party.
Well, it wasn't clear because you were talking over Ryan. I just want to make sure everybody
So honestly, this is for all the Toronto listeners and even to the Habs listeners who are listening to this. I actually am very lucky. I was 17 years old. I remember that cup. I talked about it on, I think, my first episode with you. I'll die with that memory. So even if I'm 90 and the Habs never win a cup again, I will die knowing that I have that memory and I remember it very well. But it's funny now that we're in round 3. I think I felt more. How should I say this? I thought the team was going to win the cup in 2014. I really believed it then. I think the injury to Price wrecked our flow. Just like Rex, when teams have injured players or suspended players, we can see, and we saw in these series, that it does affect the team. It affects their psyche. It can affect their flow. We know that Price is like a third defenseman. He's able to just pass the pucks like no other goalie can. And to have that gone, and to have that psyche, our star goalie's gone, and we're in the conference finals. It's going to, I don't care how professional you are, it's going to shake your psyche. Yeah. It's going to change your gameplay. And it was enough that they got knocked out. Now, maybe they would have got knocked out had Price never been injured. We will never know that alternate universe. But oddly enough, I don't, now the discussion is the Vegas Knights. And not normal, but level-headed Ryan understands that Vegas is a tough team. And I actually kind of like Vegas. And if Vegas does beat the Habs, I'm just saying if that's the timeline we're going to be on.
Of course you like Vegas. It's a lot of Habs over there.
That's true too, but they're exciting franchise to watch, and I'm not here to talk about like the Gary Bettman and the odds and the fact that the Caps whatever. I'm just saying I kind of enjoy their style, their fun team, and I got no qualms with them. And if we do lose them, there's no hard feeling. I honestly, the better team will win. Yeah. There's no animosity. I think we faced them 6 times in our whole career, so we don't have any bad blood with this team. But that being said. There's a small part of me where I don't know. I don't want to get too excited, but I'm like, I don't know. I think we can beat these guys. And I know the Habs locker room feels that way. And I know they've been very clear that like they have said, we feel something special is happening and you're seeing it on the ice. And I've been watching these guys all year and they weren't doing it all year. Yeah. I don't know what team I'm watching right now. It's sort of the team that was at the beginning of the year, but the team that I'm watching now is got me. I'm very excited to be a Habs fan. I have not been excited to be a Habs fan for a little while. And we've had our down year since that 2014, quite frankly. We've had some rough time, rough games, rough stretches. And maybe Marc Bergevin actually knew what he's talking about. He said there's teams you build for the regular season and there's teams you build for the playoffs. And we got into the playoffs and now we're kind of seeing the fruits of that labor kind of clicking.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the thing is
that hit galvanized that team.
Oh, yeah. Easily.
Right. Right. They already had some magic going. But I told Sean when it happened, I said, man, you watch like how they reacted and how they came out and fought and how that, I very clearly remember seeing his helmet on the ground. Right. And one of the guys grabbed his stick and pulled it over. And I was like, man, if he puts that helmet on his stick and goes in front of that other bench, like these boys are ready to go. I told him, I said, as soon as it happened, I go, Sweep City, watch this.
Yeah, and it's interesting.
That's the beautiful thing about sports across the board.
Yes.
Is that you have a good roster, right? You have talent, you have a little bit of magic sprinkled in, and then something galvanizing happens to that team, and then it's magic.
But
look at Braveheart. Look at Braveheart. The last battle, they were totally outnumbered and what have you. They had their leader sacrificed there, and Jake Evans, though not the leader, it was kind of like. Yeah, it was, and the fact that the team came back with the idea, we're not going to come back with punches and hits per se. We're going to come back and win the game, and they kept their heads leveled and they won as a team, and their anger was shown in their playing, and they shut down the Jets. And again, all the pundits out there were like, there was only one out of the Sportsnet or TSN.
Yeah, only one that had the Habs in 6.
Only one had the Habs had them in 6.
Yeah.
So I guarantee you, I haven't looked, but let me guess. Every Vegas or every pundit,
it's Vegas in 6 or 5. Yeah,
sure.
And here's my thing though, Ryan, is that
safe bet. Don't get me wrong, that's a safe bet.
Yeah.
But I would love to see the one person who's like, I don't know, maybe this team is that Cinderella team this year.
But here's the thing. I mean, 2014, there was a team that snuck into the playoffs, ended up winning it all. The Los Angeles Kings were 8th seed in the West and ended up winning it all. So, I mean, it doesn't matter just as long as you show up. Minnesota North Stars, when they went up against the Pittsburgh Penguins back in 92.
Yeah.
92.
All your references are like almost 30 years old, John.
Because that's how hard it is for a team in the like lower C team to actually make it all the way to the
I think
final.
the Habs, when they won in 93, I think they were 8th. Or they were bottom.
No,
they were close.
They were close. They weren't exactly the bottom, but they were definitely down there. And they were,
but nobody had them winning the first round probably back then.
And I think what galvanized them was that they had to go up against the Nordiques, and that went 7, and that was so many overtime games, and that galvanized them. And the same thing with this Habs team, is that okay? So JT.
Here comes the credit from the Leafs.
Stop. JT gets injured, right? JT gets injured. That is a huge benefit for the Montreal Canadiens because who knows?
But not for the games 2, 3, and 4. So explain in this. I've heard this from other Leaf fans. So explain it to me. How is it that that team did beat the Habs after that injury? Mm-hmm. What changed then? I mean, without Tavares.
Yeah. The thing is that there's no killer instinct on that team. There is no killer instinct on that team. If you have a killer instinct, you do what the Islanders and you do what the Knights do. You're up like 3-2. You put your foot in their neck and you just kill them. You
guys did in one game. What was it, 4 or 5? No, it was one game. I think
that was game 4, and then game 5, you guys were up 3-0. And I thought when we came back to 3-3 and tie it up, I thought, here we go. And then Galchenyuk coughs up the puck. It's the same thing with Dermott coughing up the puck, and it's just like, okay, bad bounces, whatever. That's part of the game. That's part of the game. That's the way it is. Everybody benefits or does not benefit from it. But if Tavares doesn't go down, it could be a whole different series.
Yeah, sure.
But
We never know. We never know what do you call it? The
That's hockey, though.
the ripple
If
effect.
we're candies and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas, Sean.
That's hockey, though, right? Your best
That's all
player-
sports.
That's why
Yeah.
we watch all sports. That's why the whole thing comes together.
One of your players can go right down. That's that.
Next
Guess
man
what?
up.
You still gotta go out and win.
But Sean, it's not a question of when. It's a question of how many.
I know. Stop.
Well, I actually have the answer.
I gotta already get into this here. Thanks a lot, Ryan.
I'll tell you how many. 0. I'm gonna make a bold statement here. The Leafs, this was their window, and it's over. You guys are gonna have another.
No.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, I don't care.
Oh.
I don't know. I was never like a Toronto. I'm not a Toronto hater. I don't like doing that. They're a rival. Absolutely. They're a rival. I don't hate anyone that likes the Leafs. I don't care. I don't like bad fans of any fan base at the end of the day. I don't like bad fans of my fan base. It's embarrassing some of the things that our fan base has done. And I don't
That's
like
why
that.
nobody wants Montreal to win the cup because they know what's coming next. It's like
No, it's the
gonna
same with
burn.
Toronto. If Toronto won the cup, it'd be
Really?
yeah.
Really? Because we won an NBA championship. We won 2 World Series. We didn't burn our city down.
Oh, we
did-
really,
we did-
Sean.
we did have-
What did you have to do
We
with
did
it?
have some shooting. We did have some shootings there.
He
after
was
the NBA
rooting for the Blue
championship.
Jays in 1993 in the basement of a strip club when they won.
That's
Yes.
true. Yes.
They should have, by all accounts, had the city burned.
No, you guys. The city of Toronto has had some championship banners for their sports teams. That's great. Good job.
But to be fair, it was before the burning of the city was in vogue. So that didn't
Montreal was
start
doing
until-
it
that didn't
before it
start
was in
till the
vogue.
late 90s with Detroit. So
No,
I will-
no. 93, Montreal went nuts.
Well, look, that's not me. I don't burn anything down. I burn toast, but not in celebration. But we. I don't know. I think we can beat Vegas.
I think you can too.
Yeah.
Do you think we're going to beat Vegas, Sean? Here's your prediction. Just say it.
I do.
Are we going to beat Vegas?
I do. I think it's going to be 6 games. I think it's going to be Montreal in 6. That's what I'm thinking. And I'm being a realist here. Here's the thing. The team Montreal has beaten probably their biggest rival in the first round. Smokes the team that takes out the top player in the NHL in 4. You got Marc-Andre Fleury, who's like, he's going up against Carey Price. He knows he's going up against Carey Price. Marc-Andre Fleury's mental toughness is not there. He's like Tuukka Rask.
Yeah, I don't think it's the same as Price. I think
Not at
Price
all.
is playing right now. He's playing on a killer level right now. He's got the highest goals saves against right now in the playoffs.
The times you guys made the conference finals, you do not have Carey Price. You have Carey Price now.
Yeah.
And yeah, if he's your best player, who cares? That's your best player. He's playing like your best player.
Yeah, what's such an odd criticism that people
It's
say
so
that.
stupid. It's
Like I'm
stupid.
sorry, I'm sorry that our best player happens to be the goalie. Next time we'll make him our defenseman.
It's like Buffalo when they went to the Stanley Cup Finals. They had no business being in the Stanley Cup Finals. But Dominic Hasek was that good.
Yeah, yes, he was. I remember him being that way. It was so frustrating. Like, stop in the pucks.
And he never even did the butterfly. He did this flop around thing. He's flopping around everywhere. I'm like, what is he? And no, I everybody's on the Vegas hype machine. You know what?
Sure.
Vegas might have just pulled the wild card they didn't want because this is a hot team. They don't know. These guys are young. They don't know what they're doing as far as like, oh, we're supposed to be scared.
Do they have any Stanley Cup winners on their team right now? I actually don't know. I don't know. well enough. Vegas.
Vegas? Well, besides Marc-Andre Fleury?
Right.
They've got a couple left over still from.
They
won
weren't
this
winners
year.
there. They went to the finals. And
They went to the finals. Yeah. First year.
Yeah. First year. Yeah, that's right, Brad. That's what you get to look forward to. First year. We're in the Cup final, Seattle. Yay.
Yeah, the Kraken. Well, why don't we talk about the Kraken? Is there anyone on your team?
The Kraken are going to have a Stanley Cup before the Maple Leafs do.
Yeah, I agree.
Just keep it coming, man. You know what?
Yeah.
Just keep it coming. Steamroll.
So, Sean, what's your feeling on? And of course, you too, Brad. But I know you're not as big in hockey as Sean is. But
It's his fifth.
Listen,
favorite
Ryan,
sport.
it's my 5th favorite sport, and I have 3 of the 4 finalists in the in this game.
So, what's your
It's
feeling
not that hard,
on?
I pay more attention. Like, it might be my fifth favorite sport, but like, it might be like the top level for other people if I can pick three of the four. That's how I feel about it.
Well, Brad
Okay,
is
what's-
Brad is a super fan of sports, right? So,
Sports.
I'm a sports fan in general. So to say
Yeah.
I'm not, it's not really as disrespectful as it sounds to say it's my fifth favorite sport. I just like to say that to Sean when I'm right about things because it sounds more disrespectful than it is. But
it sounds super disrespectful, but whatever.
So here's a question for you. Here's a question for you,
That's why I
Sean,
love
and
you,
of course, Brad, you too. What if we go? Well, our goal is to go back to 82 games or whatever next season.
That's right.
So back to a full schedule.
That's right.
So now with divisions playing other divisions and conferences playing those other conference games with other teams, the normal mix and match that we do throughout 82 games. But that being said, with that kind of schedule and that kind of mixing, do we still like to keep the idea of a Canadian division?
I mean, it's just hard. Logistically, it's hard because Canada's such a big country. And then having
Right.
to go to Vancouver or Edmonton or Calgary.
That's true.
Like Winnipeg is not terrible, but like to have to do that. It's the same thing with the Habs right now having to start in Vegas, right? So the game's not starting till 10 p.m. here. So 9 p.m. for you guys. In the
Well, that's
East.
your fault for living where you do.
I know. I mean,
West Coast. I love West Coast. Being on the Pacific Coast time or whatever, Pacific Standard Time, whatever it's called. I don't forget how to call it properly. But anyways, living on the West Coast time zones is the best for sports. I love it.
Oh, yeah, it is.
There's no late starts.
Every
No.
game.
Like 10 o'clock, you're wrapping up. You watch the late game at 10 o'clock. It's like,
I can watch all the games and be in bed by 10.
yeah.
It's amazing. I love
Games
it.
start right now with the NBA playoffs, like the game starts at 4:30.
I know. I wanted to watch Utah Clippers games, but they're on so late. And it's like, I'm fading already at that point.
You're not missing much. That series is over.
You think so?
Yeah.
Listen, man,
Utah-
Kawhi's used to being down 2 games. He's used to that.
Yeah.
Utah Jazz are up.
They are up 2 games. Yeah, 2 games.
I don't know who's left.
Yeah.
Who's left right now in the NBA?
The
You got
Phoenix
Utah.
Suns are up 3-0 over the Denver Nuggets.
That's right.
And a flashback to 1993. as John would enjoy.
93.
And then the other split is Utah and the Clippers.
It's 2-0
And then,
Utah.
Yep. And then we've got the Brooklyn Nets and Milwaukee Bucks are facing off. It's a 2-1 series there. And then it's Atlanta Hawks and
76ers.
76ers.
Well, it's kind of nice to see all these teams don't hear very often at this level of the playoffs.
This is it's the first time since 2010 that the finals will not include LeBron James or Steph Curry.
That's
And it's the first time
crazy.
Since
Isn't that?
1998 that there's not a Lakers, it's not the Lakers, the Heat, or Golden State in the finals.
Now, this is a naive question, so I don't follow basketball. The only sport I follow really is hockey. And the only team I really follow is Montreal. So I'm very naive and narrow-minded.
Still
But
fast.
for the NBA, is there a cap? Do they have a salary cap?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but they find ways around that.
Okay.
Not-
Because it
not-
seems like those certain teams keep having those certain dynasties. Yeah.
Well, they've got this thing called a luxury tax, and so once you cross a certain threshold of over the cap, you have to pay double the tax.
And then there's players that come and
Um,
sign the league minimum as well to come on for a chance to win.
yeah,
a
with
championship.
guaranteed money, it's changed a little bit, right? So
Yeah.
if you've got a guy, he's making 18 million and he gets cut, he's still owed that 18 million. He'll go play for $1 million with a contender because he's still making $18 million. You know what I mean? Not trying to find equal pay.
Yeah.
It's a little similar in the NFL with the dead money situation. So
So, Sean, the Habs are the champions of the North, correct?
This undisputable.
Okay.
'Cause
I feel like
where do the Leafs fall in the Canadian division? Like after the playoffs pecked out, at least third, right? If not
They're ahead
fourth.
of Edmonton for sure because we didn't get swept.
Sweeped.
Boy,
Boy.
this is how much is affecting me.
English is not his first language, Ryan. You can't.
That's true. The Fijian warrior doesn't speak English. But so, Sean, and this is serious. So, as a Leafs fan, are people crying for tearing it up, trading people, or just
Of
or they're
course.
saying there was just a bad or
No.
okay? Are people saying fire everyone, trade everyone?
Have you heard like in Toronto right now? There's people that have become Kraken fans. There's people that are burning their jerseys. It's chaos out there. They're just like, And all I'm saying is, look to Cleveland. Look to Cleveland. That should be your example.
That's not your. I don't think that's the way to go.
Look to Cleveland. Don't they lose all the time too?
But look at their fan base. They're always there.
No, I see. Well, Buffalo's like that too, aren't they? The Buffalo Sabres. Sorry, the Sabres.
The Sabres, yeah.
Well, the same with the Bills. The Bills have been perennial losers, and then last year they got in, and then
okay,
was all high and mighty on. If you notice, he wore his Bills jersey because it's also red, white, and blue, which matches Ryan. So
okay, I like it. There you go.
I know Sean's brain. That's how it works. He was like, I can't wear Habs gear, but what can I? Oh, I can match his colors with this. Watch.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, what are your feelings then? Don't just try it again. It was just a bad playoff, bad luck, whatever. Just try it again next year with the same team.
So I'm going to tell you right now. So this is you're now going to get my inner thoughts about this.
That's why I asked the question.
Yeah. So we had a brilliant GM back in the day. Not even that long ago.
Who's that?
Lou Lamoriello.
Okay.
He leaves. He goes over to the New York Islanders. Okay.
Maybe I hear they're doing okay right now.
Yeah, I hear they're doing pretty good, aren't they? They decide to the guy that they hired for analytics. They made him the GM, and he made all the trades, everything like that. That analytically, hey, we should be coming out on top. But here's the thing: you could have all the finesse plays, all the finesse whatever. It means nothing if you cannot do that. You need people to grind in there. So I thought with Nick Foligno, Riley Nash, some of those guys is great additions, but it wasn't enough because some of these guys are still stung. Like, I mean, Morgan Riley is from that 2013 Leafs team that got dismantled by Boston when they were up 4-1 in Game 7 in the third.
Okay.
Right? So you still have some of these guys that are from that team. All they know is losing. All they do is lose, no matter what.
Suggesting that a professional is affected by something that happened 7 years ago?
Yeah, if you have a player that's still there, and that's the thing, is that I really do think that the psychology of losing is a real thing.
What's the average NHL career?
The average NHL career, it's a lot longer than an NFL career, I'd say. I couldn't give you the stats.
Probably at least
2.5 years.
Yeah, NFL is 2.5, yeah. But
okay.
NHL, I remember watching a thing. This is a few years ago. Let me just look this up right now, Brad, while you guys discuss, and I'll have a look at this here.
Because I feel like it's a soft argument that someone who was there 7 years ago is still mentally affected by that and plays enough of a role that it gets in the psyche of the rest of the team.
Well, Toronto in general is affected by the fact they haven't won the cup since 67, and
so multiply it by 2.
It's a widespread problem.
5 years is the average.
So he's even out of the league if he was an average player.
And well, he wasn't an average player.
The argument that it's one player that's shell shock is rough.
No. I'm just saying that he's one guy that's only known loss since all the way back then.
Toronto leadership is terrible.
Hey, listen.
You see the way it goes down. You see the way they're not chippy. They don't want to defend their teammates. There's no accountability in that locker room.
No. And Johnny Tavares is the wrong guy to be naming captain. I don't think Austin Matthews could be your captain either.
Well, Austin Matthews disappeared in the game as soon as Johnny Tavares was gone. Right? Yeah. We talked about that. And they didn't take up for him when he was injured.
No, Nick Foligno went to bat. And here's the thing.
One guy. But we talked about that one guy. You talk about.
But it was accidental. Corey Perry did not mean.
Listen, I saw a goalie get elbowed in the face for the first time ever after Ryan's guy went down. That's crazy. Just think about that. Like the guy skated through the line and gave that guy an elbow to the face and didn't give two shits about that game. Like he was sending a message. All those guys got hit when that guy went down, right, wrong, or indifferent.
Well, it was wrong. It was clearly wrong. Mark Scheifele hit was completely egregious.
I'm just saying it was, but they still.
Corey Perry was an accident.
That's how it works. That their mentality.
That's coming from a Leafs fan, everyone.
It was. I'm not. What am I going to say? It was. He didn't mean to.
No.
You know,
that was literally a body just flying in front of your.
Different, but intent and what happened are two different things.
But what are they supposed to do? They're supposed to go over there, just start.
You're supposed to galvanize your team, Sean.
Nick Foligno did. He went over there and he started a fight with Corey Perry.
He did not. He didn't galvanize his team.
Yes, he did. Corey
Because
Perry
you
just
lost
sat there and
7
took his
games.
licks.
You lost in 7 games to the 18th overall seed.
I know.
We were the last team coming to the playoffs. I love it. We don't have home ice advantage no matter who we face.
It's true.
Yeah, but that's just the beauty of sports. But like, you can't be, you're gonna miss me with the, it's one guy. Like, that's a lot of guys.
I wanted to say this before I forget, and to any of the Habs fans that are still listening, this is me speaking level-headed here. I'm very excited that we're playing Vegas. I'm looking forward to the series. I'm looking forward to the goaltender battle. I still think obviously Price has the advantage, obviously with experience. Well, of course Fleury has the experience, but I think our team has just suffered a lot this year, and we've had a lot of. I don't know if Vegas has had that kind of emotional suffering that we've had, and that does carry. Like the battle's won.
What emotional suffering have you suffered?
Losses.
What are you talking about?
Losses
What in the
and us
Yeah.
as a team. This is a horrible season.
I know you fired your coach halfway through.
And I don't mean horrible, but I feel the team wasn't quite. They gelled at the beginning, then something fell apart. Then we had a coaching staff change. We slipped into the playoffs barely. Price was injured forever. That's a battle though in the psyche of like, hey, we got through all this stuff. We made the playoffs. Hey, we beat. Like I think they're on this team building unity high.
Here's what I said: is that Montreal was going to make it. They weren't going to lose out to Calgary. They weren't going to lose out to those teams. They were going to make it. And Carey Price having half the season off. Jake Allen picked up that slack for him, managed to get all rested up, ready for the postseason.
Yeah, if you want to put your tinfoil hat on, I mean, there might be people saying Price wasn't as injured as maybe.
I don't know about that, but
or you could argue, he was injured. He was getting the rest that he needed, and they're like, oh, we're going to make the playoffs. There's no reason to.
Yeah, rush him. Exactly.
That just happened though in LA with LeBron. There was a big conspiracy that his ankle injury was not as terrible as it was, and they were going to ride him into the playoffs. And then they got into the playoffs, and the continuity and the rhythm was non-existent, and they laid an egg in the first round.
Yeah.
Oh, so it worked against them.
Oh yeah.
And I'm wondering if that's my only fear about the rest of Montreal's having right now. I think it's good they're getting it for the injured players that they have, but is that momentum's kind of gone?
Yeah, because you saw the momentum after Game 7. They were
that's
right into.
Sean and I were talking about while you were getting ready to come back on. Was that for me that series is a toss up between Vegas and Montreal. I'm very interested to see what happens in Game 1. In Game 1, I'll tell you, it doesn't matter. They don't have to win, right? I need to see their energy and what they're bringing to the table.
And Montreal's going to be facing for the first time a legitimate home crowd or away crowd that they haven't seen for over a year.
Yeah. And 500. It's not 500 health workers,
right? It either shells them or it emboldens them.
Yeah.
And this is a team that's been, this is players that have been to opposing ice fan bases. It's not foreign to them. It's just going to be new after a little while. But yeah, it could embolden them. It could be, hey, let's see how quickly we can silence these guys.
Yeah. My thing is that you have, well, first off, Montreal has such storied history, right? And then when you have the old timers like Yves Cournoyer, Guy Lafleur, all those guys sitting up there, what are you supposed to do? You have to go out and just, it's Montreal.
But in Vegas, they've got Johnny Mathis in the crowd.
They also have Little John.
Little John.
He's a mascot of sorts for them.
I'm actually kind of curious how many Montreal fans might be in the crowd.
Well, you can't cross the border, right? Can you guys fly?
No, this is people that live there that are fans. There's fans. The Montreal fans are they're like cockroaches. They're everywhere. They never go away.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
It will be interesting. I'm sure there'll be a handful. I wouldn't be surprised if there's maybe as many as healthcare workers in a sense scattered throughout the crowd. But they'll out of 20,000 people, I'd say
there's a fair amount of retirees.
A lot of Canadians live in Vegas at the end of the day, like Canadian citizens.
Phoenix, right, which isn't a very long, like Scottsdale area. That's not a very long haul to Vegas if your team's in.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd go. 3 hour
They're
drive.
definitely there'll probably one person out of the 2,500 in the Bell Center that will be a Vegas. You'll see a Vegas jersey there.
All right. So right. So we're down to the final 4.
Okay.
All right. I want to get Ryan your picks out of the 2 series and Brad your picks out of the 2 series. So
I do want to make one point when I say this, and I think that the Canadians have an advantage in the goaltender spot, even more so because Fleury gives up goals. And we just
His record against the Habs isn't very good.
Go up 2 goals and then he gave them back up. Like he doesn't have it. And that's what is going to be fascinating to me to watch. I need to see the energy from Montreal in game 1. Again, win or lose. If they've got the right energy, then I think they win the series. But
the first game is an important game. Absolutely. Yeah.
So
you almost have to treat the first game like a game 7.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I'm saying it's Montreal in 6, and I'm saying it's the Islanders in 7. They're going to fight. It's going to be a fight. Yeah. All right.
Tampa in 5 and Montreal in 7.
Okay.
I'm with Brad. I don't like guessing numbers. I don't know why, because I'm just not good at it, but like how many games they'll win. But I think the Habs will beat Vegas, and
so they'll win at least 4, right? They'll win 4 games.
They'll win at least 4.
Yeah.
And and I think I think Tampa's going to make it to the final.
So it's so funny, right? Because like there's so many people that you end up encountering with. So when I talk to my Habs friends, I always congratulate them because it's just like, hey, good job. I'll listen to. I get my ear blown up about everything about the Leafs, everything like that. But there's so many people that are there going, listen, I know Montreal is a Canadian team. They're the only Canadian team left, but why them? Why them?
That's fair. I'd feel the same if it was Toronto. Like if Winnipeg beat Montreal, I'd be going for Winnipeg. If Edmonton knocked out Montreal, I'd be going for Edmonton. It's normal to feel the way. If you're a Habs fan, it's hard to be a Leafs fan too. It's hard to, yeah.
It's so funny because like I have a Montreal buddy who was there watching game 4, and he was there telling me like, listen, the Leafs couldn't win another Stanley Cup because nobody in Montreal will be able to stand it because they've won too much. They've won the Raptors. Now, if they win a cup, we'll never hear the end of it, right?
No.
So then all of a sudden, I'm hearing the guy, we're talking. I go, listen, I don't know why Toronto people were just going nuts about the CN Tower being lit up in the red, white, and blue of the Habs. It's like, come on, man! Like,
was that like a sabotage or something? I heard. Like,
no, it wasn't a sabotage.
Okay.
That was like they were trying to show the support for the last Canadian team left in the playoffs, and Toronto went nuts. Like, no, and I'm like, come on, man! It's the last team, and I'll never forget.
100% against it.
Huh?
This is the wife question of the week.
Here, my wife question of the week. I got it right here, right now.
Okay.
Because she did ask me this. Wife question of the week. Why is it bad for Toronto to have the colors of the Montreal Canadiens on the CN Tower? And I looked at her and I said, do you think that the Pittsburgh, that Cleveland would have anything, any tower, anything like that, any of the buildings lit up in Pittsburgh Steelers lights? Hell no. Hell no. But at the same hand, Canada is just that team that's just like, we haven't seen a cup in 28 years. Okay, we'll take it with Montreal, whatever. Yeah,
I wonder.
It's like,
I wonder. It's weird. I wonder if it has something to do with the fact that we had a Canadian division partly, and it was almost like it was the one year that all the Canadian teams. It was kind of like our little bubble in the sense like if COVID didn't exist and somehow Montreal, because Montreal wouldn't have faced Toronto maybe, but if COVID didn't exist in the playoffs year,
Montreal would have faced Toronto eventually at some point.
If
they're in the same division,
if Toronto got past the first round, so because Toronto can't go past the first round,
Ryan, just
thank you. So that being said, I don't think Toronto would have flown us. I think it had a little bit to do with COVID, kind of the country uniting. Like, I think that's why. And I give props to them for doing that, but I totally understand Toronto fans being upset. So I see both sides. I think if it was revert,
if it was the shoe on their foot, like I don't know what there is in Montreal that's the same as the CN Tower. I had to Google where the CN Tower was, to be honest with you, to make sure that was.
A lot of movies are filmed there. A lot of movies, and
is there something in Montreal they could have lit up in Maple Leaf colors and
the Bell Center? Can you imagine?
I think that's sacrilegious, though, man. That would be a little sacrilegious.
I know. I honestly, I don't. As much as I love my team and the franchise, there's no way Montreal would have done the same thing. I don't think. I don't think so. Yeah. I don't think they would have done it.
I agree. That's why they're also
Montreal said that
because they know their fan base better.
Yeah.
Maybe
they would just.
John, maybe Toronto's fans are just too soft. Maybe that's
No,
the
they
thing.
were vexed. They were pissed. It's the
No,
politicians.
I mean, like they're upset at other things, right? They're more Karenish than they are like actual fans. They're just offended.
Wow.
But okay, here before we close, I know we're nearing the end here, but before we close, I do know a lot of Toronto fans where I saw the videos like on TikTok and YouTube, or whatever, people legitimately burning their Marner or Matthews jerseys. And I always want to speak as I've been a fan since I was 8 years old. I'm 45 right now. Of my team, I've seen the highs and lows. I've seen my team not make the playoffs. There was a spell there. I think it was like 4 out of 5 years or 3 out of 5 years we didn't make the playoffs. And so I've seen it all in the sense I've seen our team collapse. I've seen them knocked out. I've seen them swept. I've never once considered stop liking my team. It's an odd journey. I don't understand these fans. That's part of being a fan. That's why we love sports, because my team right now absolutely is doing more than I thought they were going to do. Absolutely. I'm not going to lie to you and say I thought we were going to win the cup. I was even nervous that we were going to make the playoffs. I honestly believe Calgary was going to do something at the end there, because that's the Habs fan thinking like, oh, I don't know. It's still mathematically possible that Montreal doesn't make it. And anyway, so that being said, I didn't think we were going to beat the Leafs. I wanted them to. Of course, I cheered for them. When we were down 3-1, if you were to ask me right then and there, Ryan, are they going to come back in 3 games? Well, no. You see what we just performed? I was ready to say fire Bergevin, fired all these guys. We made it, but that's what makes sports exciting is we took a gamble and it worked, and another team collapsed. Absolutely, this happens all the time, and I just happened to be wearing the jersey of the team that didn't collapse, and that's what it is, guys. And if you're a fan of your team and you're burning your jerseys, I'm sorry, I'm calling you out. You're a lame fan of your franchise. You should not be a fan of your franchise. Jumping bandwagons is stupid. I think you can cheer for other teams because sports is fun. You can have every round, everyone has somebody they want to beat and lose. That's what makes it fun. But to jump on their back and say, I am now a fan of this franchise just because they've won, lame. And I'm not a fan of this team because they lost, lame.
And like
thick and thin, you stick with your team. Enjoy it. Cry when they win, cry when they lose. Absolutely. Hate your team when they lose. Absolutely. But do not take off the jersey. Do not change your sports shelf memorabilia stuff. Nothing. You're a fan, win or lose.
So, Ryan, is that your long way of saying that you're not going to send Sean a Doug Gilmore sweater?
I don't have a Gilmore. I just have my, which one does that? Let's see which one I'm wearing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. I heard he's the top.
Sean, do you want that one?
The top goal scorer this one, eh?
It's number 19. My jersey is number 19 because that was my rugby number throughout junior and high school. So, yeah.
Man, I would take a Rabalkin jersey just because I like you, Ryan. Yeah, I would take a Rabalkin.
Can you imagine to be 45-year-old Rabalkin on the ice?
It's like, you know what? Did you see those Tide Cold commercials there with Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Yeah, those are fun.
You see the one with Mark Messier?
Yeah.
And I'm looking at Mark Messier, and he looks like he's in fantastic shape. And then I'm looking at his age. He's 60, and I'm thinking, like, that guy could lace up skates right now and go out there. He looks that great.
Yeah.
It's
It'd
like,
be interesting.
Oh,
Yager's still playing in whatever league that is out there.
yeah, I know.
Because he owns the team, I think, doesn't he?
Mario.
They're winning cups, though, too.
Well, Putin's the best player, isn't he, in Russia right now?
Oh, yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Just ask him.
Listen, all right. Before we put an end to this altogether here, because you know what, I'm going to say right now, I've had enough about talking about the Leafs. I will say this, Tristan. Listen, buddy, I love you. I don't know why you had to switch it to Seattle. Brad loves you right now too, but come back to the Leafs,
my friend. That's why.
Come back to the Leafs.
Oh, you got a friend that legit left.
So this guy used to be he was a QMJHL player.
Okay,
and I'm on the show, and hardcore Leafs fan. Then all of a sudden, just like, hey guys, we got the number 2 pick overall, and I'm there going, did you just switch over to the Kraken? And then sure enough, he switched everything over to the Kraken. I'm like, oh my gosh,
as he should have.
As he should have. Brad loves you, Tristan. I still love you, man, but it's okay. You're just confused. Look to Cleveland.
This is terrible advice all the way around.
Not at all. When you can mess up a trade deadline, and you still go there and cheer for them.
But you have a paper bag on your face. I'm just saying, like,
I'm wearing a paper bag. I'm going to be wearing a paper bag on my face when I go there.
But it's probably because there's less things to do, or it's really cold. Like, it's one of the two, right? But
it's cold. It's cold there. Yeah, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Like I thought Seattle was cold that December day. I thought Seattle was closed. that December day we went to go watch them in
Yeah, that was
2013.
stupid. Yeah, that was stupid.
But it's nowhere near. That was November, and I'm watching Cleveland, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, what is they built that stadium purposely that the Lake Erie, when it blows in,
Yeah.
the cold air gets trapped on the field. It just circles around on the field.
They have snow flurries with no clouds in the sky because it just blows it off the lake. That's how cold it is.
It's crazy. I believe it.
That's how silly that is. Like, that's insane. And someone
Yeah.
signed off on that agreement. Like, okay, what's the best competitive advantage we can get? You know what? Snow. Let's manufacture snow. Shout out to Cleveland for being trendsetters.
All right, Brad. Johnny Manziel. Does he get a third chance with the USFL being brought back into existence?
I don't know. I don't know at this point.
I can't even believe the USFL is coming back.
I can.
You can?
Yeah, I think it's ill-fated. I don't think it's going to make it, but I understand why it's coming back.
Please explain to me because I don't know why.
Well, there's going to be a boom in people going to do things, right? And so you need to have that out there. But it's just not. I mean, there's a lot of sports that you can have other talent in. I think football is one of the ones that's really difficult to have in a competitive league of dudes in their late 20s.
Is Donald Trump going to be allowed to own a team there?
Oh, probably. I mean, his money, if he has the money, that's the question right now.
But he was the reason that the whole entire USFL experiment failed the first time.
He's the reason why a lot of things have failed, Sean.
I didn't want to go down that road. I did want to bring up, though, that because he wanted to go head-to-head against the NFL, that was a mistake. That was a huge mistake.
Listen, he's made a lot of mistakes, and he's always bounced back to some degree in his own mind. So, yeah.
Look at this. You've driven me to the scotch, Ryan. You've driven me to the scotch from this conversation.
To be fair,
My pleasure.
It was a short drive, Ryan. It was a short drive.
So, when does this episode drop in relation to the Monday's game?
Right
Tomorrow.
Right
Yeah.
before.
Okay. All right. So when people are listening, or if they've already listened, Habs will win the first game. Mark my words. And if we don't win the first game, I really believe we can win. Why not? Why not believe? I'm going to throw away the odds. I'm going to throw away everything else. I think if we just throw our belief in the air, all Habs fans unite. Don't be ashamed to say your team's going to win.
Yep.
Like I've said before, it's not a question of when; it's a question of how many. Go Habs, go!
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Are you like doubly excited because it's like a Rocky story in some ways?
It truly is.
That's right. Well, and at the end of the day, and I post this in the Facebook group. I'm in a Habs Facebook group with like 30,000 people. I posted. I said, "Well, win or lose against Vegas, we have nothing to be ashamed of, and we have nothing to be embarrassed about." I don't think every franchise can say that this year. So, if Vegas knocks us out, okay, sure.
Dude,
and
you
anyone
you guys are playing on house money.
yeah.
What do you have to be upset about?
Yeah.
You weren't
I
even
know.
supposed to be there.
I know. So that's what I mean. So I mean, that's a kind of a good feeling. I think the Habs players must. I mean, look, if I know that, the players must know this, and it's kind of nice being the underdog in some way because you don't have to
lose.
worry about being like,
play
oh, they
lose.
lost against
Yeah.
Vegas in the third round. They should be ashamed. No, it's like we weren't supposed to be here, but let's just see what
We'll take it.
happens.
Yeah, exactly. We'll take
And that's a good place to be sometimes. That's why we have underdog stories. And again, that's why we watch sports because
my only thing for you guys, I got to be honest, Ryan,
sure.
is that you get maybe another 3 years of Mark Bergevin with that horrible hair and his horrible.
I hate it.
trades,
I hate it.
You know, because the team's done so well. Because Mark Bergevin, I'm sure, was on his way out. All of a sudden, hey, we made the conference finals. You get a 3-year extension.
Yeah, it's like Samson Delilah. Isn't that the story where he didn't cut his hair to get a strength? So I think Bergevin's like, I'm not going to cut my hair till the Habs win the cup.
Sean went the other way. He cut his hair because his Maple Leafs didn't win a first round. So. Poorly, I might add. He still hasn't lined up the front there. He's got a little bit of a.
I'm a beast, man.
Is that what it is?
But you're handsome.
Yeah.
You're very handsome.
Well, thank you.
You are handsome. It's just unsettling with a really groomed beard and a not groomed top. That's the throw off for me.
I'll fix it up.
If you're gonna go full grieving, you should just shave the beard off or just trim.
Oh, I
it.
can't do that.
Not really grieving.
Can't do that. I do want to start talking about this though. NBA. I was watching game 3 of that Bucks Brooklyn series. And I was appalled. It was a horrible game. That was a horrible game. They're trying to say how, oh, Milwaukee's playing so defensively well. No. Kyrie wasn't making shots. Kevin Durant wasn't making shots. Giannis Antetokounmpo thinks that he's Steph Curry trying to throw a three all the time because they could have driven that score way up. Middleton was the only guy that played well. How many free throws did Antetokounmpo miss that game? It was terrible.
The same amount that he normally does. He's not a great.
It was terrible. He made one three-pointer out of 10 attempts.
I thought you were going to talk about Kevin Durant's personal security running onto the court to separate him from all.
That was crazy. That was a little crazy as well. But here's the thing. Kevin Durant's supposed to be right now probably the best player left in these playoffs. And, man, he played like it in the fourth quarter, but the first three, I don't know where he was. I have no idea. That was a really bad game to watch.
Yeah, and that's the thing with series. You can't break series down into single games. I mean, everyone's going to have an off night. You know, I think Milwaukee needs to make hay now because if James Harden comes back, it's
it's done. You know, and then Antetokounmpo, I saw him travel. I don't know how many times. How many times I see him travel that game?
Every game. That's what he does.
Like, holy geez, 5 steps to the basket, and I'm 200 and something pounds. I'll get a basket every time and the foul. Holy jeez.
Well, you can cover the whole court in 5 steps. So
it's true though.
He's a freak of an athlete. I mean, there's not many dudes walking around like him.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. Kawhi Leonard, Utah. I'm not worried. He's used to this. He's used to that. He's used to being down 2 games.
Not with that team though, and that like Ty Lue has no juice.
Is that the Toronto guy?
Yeah. He signed over in Los Angeles Cup. This is last year in his contract too, so it's very.
So his team's still in.
They're down 2 games to Utah.
They haven't looked good.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you have a coach that's really an ex-player that really doesn't. It's like Steve Nash coaching the Brooklyn Nets. It's like, are you really coaching? Are you really coaching? You have that much talent? Are you coaching?
Oh, is he coaching that team right now?
Yeah.
And they're in?
They're in, and they got it's a video game team, Ryan. It's a video game team.
What do you mean by that?
They have arguably probably 3 of the top 10, if not top 8 players.
It's old Steve Nash's coaching. You know, I went to school with him, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's 2 years older than me, so I knew him in junior high, Arbutus Junior Secondary School here in Victoria. And
I was telling me that he would practice with tennis balls there, eh?
Well, the funny thing is, back when you're a kid, you don't see him like, oh, he's going to be a future NBAer, but he was a star player. In fact, if you pull out our yearbook, my grade 8 yearbook, he was a grade 10. There's a little write up, the Arbutus team won the BC championships, however far out they go there, but they won the BC boys championship. And it actually says in the write-up, it says, I think it actually quotes, and in no small part because of Steve Nash. So it's just interesting that even back then he was the star player, of course, of the boys team there. But I never thought he would ever be an NBA player.
And win the MVPs twice. This is the only way he's going to win a finals championship, though, as head coach.
Sure.
Good for him. He doesn't have to do anything for.
And he slept with Elizabeth Hurley.
He's got to do something.
Yeah, he's got to call the timeouts. Yeah.
No. He slept with Elizabeth Hurley.
Yeah. I heard you the first time.
In her prime.
Yeah, but so did Hugh Grant.
Are you saying it matters how many people she slept with, Sean?
No. She's allowed to sleep with as many people as she wants. Even back then.
He has a thing for foreigners, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Sean, you lost your chance. She loves Fijian warriors.
I don't know that Sean's in her demographic.
No, yeah.
Brian, you're 45-year-old Canadian.
Well, yeah, she's 10 years older than me.
Steve Nash is, 47, right? So
yeah,
in the demographic.
He's happily married now, of course, but this was pre-marriage.
Yeah.
Back when he was running through Phoenix. Good for him.
With that hair.
All right, Ryan.
Him and Steve Kerr are 2 of the luckiest dudes on the planet, I think.
Yeah, they got Steve Kerr got to play with Michael Jordan. And then
they just parlayed, semi decent basketball playing ability into careers in a sport they love.
have you seen how many basketball championships have been won by first year coaches in the past half decade to decade?
No,
No.
how many? I don't
So-
care. I don't care. That's not something I care about. I'm
Last
busy
year,
coaching.
Los Angeles Lakers, their head coach, right? First year
Yep, Frank
coach,
Vogel.
won the NBA championship. The year before that, Nick Nurse, first year coach, won the NBA championship. Steve Kerr won the NBA championship. Tyronn Lue won the NBA championship. That's a lot of first year coaches.
When did Tyronn Lue? Who was he coaching? When they
Cleveland.
won? Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Cleveland.
I always forget he was the head coach.
I know. Because that was one of those times. It was like, just insert timeout.
Well, two of those, yeah. I mean, Vogel and Ty Lue both had LeBron James. I mean, it's probably not very difficult to win a coach timeout or a championship in your first year. If that's your player. Same with Steve Nash. If Steve Nash wins this year, like to your point, it won't be because of coaching.
But I'm just saying, right? It's like that's how many first year coaches.
Well, yeah, and if you look at Steve Nash's bench, he has 3 or 4 legit long-term head coaches on that bench serving him. And that matters, right? Like
D'Antoni alone. I mean,
you get a guy with 30 years of coaching experience, and he's your assistant, like, and he's loving life because he doesn't have to take all the pressure of a head coach. He can just coach basketball. It's easy.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's like the running joke on Twitter right now is that Steve Nash is worried that D'Antoni's going to take the Portland job and make him look and expose him for who he really is.
Oof.
I just saw that the Raptors are in the front running to get CJ McCollum.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
That's your Portland Trailblazers there. I mean, hey, we gave you.
They can't listen. They can't have 2 6'3" guards.
No,
That's
we
for
gave
sure.
you Norm Powell. You got Norm Powell. Run with him.
I'd rather have Norman than CJ, and I love.
Of course you would. Of course you would, because he's a superstar.
Yes, but the way they're currently configured, you can't have 3 6'4" and under
Agreed.
guards
Yeah.
on the court at the same time.
I think Lowry's gone.
Well, in men's league, if you're playing at the Y, that team is dominating.
Yeah.
The NBA, not so much.
Do you think Kawhi Leonard's going to come back to the Raptors?
Yes.
I love it, Ryan. I love it. I love to hear it. It might not be correct, but I love to hear it.
Hey, my predictions have come correct on the show. I'm saying he comes back.
All right,
Sure.
you just keep saying. I like that. It's true. What do you think, Brad?
Brian Thomas. I don't know what Kawhi does, to be honest with you. I don't know that anyone does.
I don't think Kawhi knows what he's doing.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he knows. I think he wanted to be home. He's from LA. I think that's what he wanted. I don't think it's gone the way he wanted it to go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it
it's
would
true.
surprise me if he went back to Toronto, but
It'd be a great pickup for
they would just
Toronto.
have to pay him. And I think that was the problem the first time.
No, they were able to pay him. There was no problem paying
well,
Kawhi Leonard
okay. That yes. But the supporting cast around him, they were not able to pay.
because he wanted Paul George, right? And so for the
Kyle Lowry, which seems to be a safe pick. I mean, not right now.
yeah, but he wanted Paul George, and so we would have to give up Pascal Siakam, Norm Powell, and I don't know how many first rounders in order to make that happen. And it was just like, no, we can't make that happen. I think we're going to get Russell Westbrook in the deal as well.
Yeah, it was a terrible idea. No,
Yeah. So it's like, all right, I'll take Pascal Siakam still. Thank you.
Who's now going to be out for
5 months.
I bet he's out for all of next year.
It's a possibility. That surgery was pretty significant there.
Shoulder surgeries for basketball players are terrible.
Yeah. But you know what? Like, here I am. I'm listening to all these injuries there in basketball. And then when I hear about the exit interviews and what some of these NHLers were playing with, it's just like, oh my God, how did you even play? Punctured lung, torn labrum in the hip, broken foot. It's like, how are you coming out there and playing?
Well, I don't think you want to know. But
I think you're right.
let's not watch how the sausage gets made. Let's just enjoy it. That's
I think there was a time when blissful ignorance was just so well received in sports because you really didn't know how they were doing it. You just would all of a sudden put these guys onto that. Like Montreal's got so many stories of Maurice Richard moving a person and then showing up to play the game that same day after he moved that person and then goes and scores a hat trick. and then
You
probably
mean move
drinks.
them, like, move their couch or their Davenport.
No,
like,
they're definitely just
that's
moved
what
the
happened.
Davenport. That's it. He moved the whole family there. One of his friends, and I'm sure they were drinking because that was, that was the way they did it.
It was like one of the sports that you can drink before you play, though.
Not
Same.
anymore. Like these guys don't do that anymore. But it used to be smoking a pack a day and drinking a 2-4 and then going out and playing.
Yeah.
Like I was just listening to Mike Johnson talk about when they
It
went
wouldn't
to
surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if they had a couple of beers to, a little bit of skate.
maybe. But like I was listening to Mike Johnson. He was
doing baseball. I think baseball players.
yeah.
If you don't run as much, I think you can probably.
Well, Prince Fielder proves that. But when I sit there and I have a look at NHLers from even just a decade ago, right? They were talking about Mike Johnson was talking about how they were in a lockout, but they knew that they might be coming back like come winter. And sure enough, they're coming back, and these guys weren't in shape. They're eating pasta dinners, drinking beer, and everything like that. Then all of a sudden, they're driving around to the rink, and they're just in full plastic bags and everything, trying to just shed pounds. But he goes, the NHLer today, they're always in shape, right? Because none of them are drinking. None of them are,
It's that way in every sport.
Yeah.
Everyone always is ready to go for the most part.
Yeah. But it used to be not the case for the NHL. It used to be Al Iafrate would smoke a pack and still be the fastest guy on skates out there.
Well, yeah.
And he had the best skullet.
If you've always done something, I think you can still maintain. I mean,
Yeah. It reminds me
smoking going on in most of the leagues.
It reminds me of this army guy I knew when we were in Saint Jean, and this guy could smoke Saint Jean sur Richelieu, and and when we were there, this guy could smoke a pack a day and still run 10K, go lift weights. I was just like, how do you do this? But it's just because he just accustoms himself to it, right? So it's just like,
Go smoking.
what's that, right?
I'm just plugging lung disease.
Oh,
Go smoking.
No smoking.
No, go smoking.
Oh,
I'm cheering it on. Yeah, smokers.
What else do you do when you're on a sail? Don't you guys all pick up smoking while you're sailing?
I don't.
a lot of people do.
People do. That's fine. I understand. It's sailing is basically prison work at sea. So you have a job to do. You're let out of your cage for a little bit, get to walk around 5 feet, and then you go back to your cage. And if you're a good boy, you don't go to the hole. Yeah, there's showers.
You get to walk in there with a towel around you, and now you're a higher rank, so there's only 2 showers. So
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you're not at least bumping butts and everything, walking.
Well, never say never, but
it's true. It does happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
but yeah. No, but it's not too bad. I just load a lot of movies on my phone, and so sailing is a grind mentally. We know it's not the army. We understand it's a different type of grind, but it's like it's a psychological grind because you are in this moving office that you can't ever leave. You don't walk on solid ground for days and days, weeks at a time, even. And you're just
shot at. The only place you can go is the drink.
Yeah. So it's but I like it. I don't mind it at all. I'm happy to be employed. I'm happy to have a job, and that's kind of how I treat it. It's a job, it's a career, and I just try to do my best and try to keep a positive attitude. And
you get awesome nautical songs.
Sure. And I try to make some friends. That's the ultimate thing. I try to make friends and just have a good time, because you can even make friends in prison. Let's be honest. So
absolutely.
Some closer than others.
Yeah. Some closer than others. Absolutely. Hey, Ryan.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you know how many verses do you know of Bears Privateers?
0.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I'm not singing with you, Sean.
What kind of sailor are you?
Sorry, Ryan.
I don't know. I'm a fine sailor. But these Eastern songs are like East Coast. Like, it's never been my thing.
Spot on impression of Sean.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. It all makes sense. There's no rebuttal. That's how you know it's true. Like they hit the nail on the head.
There's songs I don't even know what they're singing. It's just like, I came in with a hat. I'm going to leave with a hat. It's like, oh,
Is it, you just like figure out the tempo and just like say words because everyone else is singing?
Yeah, I think you just slur along with them.
Sloshing beer everywhere.
Right.
sometimes we're bound for Liverpool. Sometimes we're bound for Spain.
See, I know the song with
The
you.
year was 1778.
I just gotta find the kids. Yeah.
Just the Swedish chef was
Ah,
Dorski, Morski, Horska, Horsk.
That's all we know. That's all you gotta know.
oh my gosh. All right. Who's been keeping tabs on Major League Baseball this year so far?
But before we get into baseball,
Oh,
I'll secure my position here because the Habs talk is over, and my wife and I got to do some stuff on our Saturday here.
hey,
But
Ryan, listen, buddy.
Hey, thanks
thank
for
you
giving
so
up some
much.
time, Ryan. We appreciate
Yeah.
it. We know you're always welcome here. We know your time is short at home.
yeah, I'm a third timer. Have you guys had more than 3 timers yet? A few.
Only one.
Only one.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the only one that matters. No offense to the other guy.
You're the one.
Right.
that-
Thanks.
You're the
we-
clean
we
version of the other
talk a
one.
lot about whatever's going on in the world, but
So, but Sean, best of luck to the Leafs next year. I can't wait to hear the headline next year. It's not a question of just get through the first round, then we'll discuss how many. All right, Brad, it was good seeing you again.
Ryan, if you could do something, just maybe write down the way to act if you win a first round playoff series, and then share those notes with Sean.
And I'll say to all the Habs fans out there, yeah, but guys, be gracious winners. Be an example to the other fan bases. It's fun to win, absolutely, but don't destroy public property. Don't leave other messes for taxpayers and public service to clean up. And I mean that. I mean seriously,
Yeah,
the fans that break things aren't cleaning up the mess, and there's other poor people that are cleaning up the mess. So, anyways, be nice, be courteous, but have fun, be loud. You know what I mean? So, anyways,
Ryan.
thanks guys. Thanks for having me.
Always the best, man.
Yeah,
Always the
thank you.
best. Have a great one, okay?
You bet. We'll see you when the
Be
Habs win
safe.
the cup. All right.
Okay. Be safe.
Always fun with Ryan.
All right. Have you been keeping up with Major League Baseball at all
Yeah,
there?
of course I have. I'm keeping
All
up
right.
with it.
Vladdy Guerrero hitting his 19th home run.
Yeah, him and Tatis, I think that's the next generation of real sluggers.
Him and Tatis, yeah. I'm surprised at Tampa. Well, not really with Tampa. Tampa's doing what Tampa was going to do, I thought. But Boston is playing out of their minds right now.
Yeah.
I was not expecting Boston to be where they are.
Yeah. I feel like with baseball, it's just still early. There's so many games, right?
Agreed.
What's going to be interesting to me is what happens with this foreign substance on the ball for pitchers. There's, the story. They're going to start cracking down on they know there's a problem with pitchers and doctoring the baseball. And
Yeah, but they've been doing that. They've been doing that forever.
I know, but they're going to start cracking down on it, and that's fascinating to me because I want to watch how it happens.
It's going to be interesting. Jacob deGrom. He's been having a little season, hasn't he?
Yeah. Well, it's stopped now, but
Well, he got a little injured.
he's got an elbow injury. It's never good.
It's not Tommy John, I hope.
If you come out of your start 12 pitches in or whatever it was for an elbow,
Yeah, I think it came out in the 5th or the 6th, something like that. Yeah,
I don't know where it was. I thought it was earlier than that, but
there's been a lot of good pitching actually this year. I thought.
Yeah.
What do you think of the Jays' chances?
He came out after the 6th inning. He said
Yeah.
it's not serious. So
What do you think of the Jays' chances for wild card? Even
I mean, they always have a shot, right? With that roster, they got to solidify their pitching a little bit.
so it's like, yeah, their pitching
That's what
is
it comes down to, right? It's what it's
Yeah.
going to have for everybody. That's the thing. Is everyone's in this weird little, hunt right now, and it's the teams that have good pitching that are going to show themselves to be successful. That's how I see it.
You know what the funny thing is? The Mariners still technically have a chance to win their division against the Athletics. Like, you're only 3 games out of 500. Not too shabby.
No, they've had a little bit of a lull the last week, but their pitching staff is young. They're doing well. Their ace, Marco Gonzalez, has been injured for most of it. He's making his way back. They've had a decent amount of injuries in the infield.
Mm-hmm.
But, part of the problem is they can't score a lot of runs, which seems to be perpetual in Seattle. So, but I will say they are a fun team to watch right now. They're definitely, the young guys are showing flashes of being somebody, right? I think, we're probably still a year away from really galvanizing, but I imagine that Seattle's a big off-season player for talent this year. They're going to need some veterans to come in, and
they make some signings that nobody thought that they had any business makings over the past few little bit. So past few seasons. So it's interesting.
Yeah, it's a fun time to be a Mariners fan for sure.
Yeah, I was looking at the Indians too. They have a really good team as well. Jeez,
Yeah, the Indians are stacked. They just swamped the Mariners last night.
yeah. And that's even after giving up Francisco Lindor. Like, it's crazy.
Well, he's been playing terrible, but
over on the Mets.
he's not doing well with the Mets. Now he's starting to pick it up now, but his first third of the season was terrible. I mean, you kind of expected the performance history from the Mariners going from the West Coast to the East Coast in a day. Like, that's some of it. We're going to see that this year, like we've seen across the rest of the sports, right? Is this condensed travel and all these extra games, and the NFL is really the only team that got away unscathed from that travel, right? Because they didn't really press down. So, pretty interesting.
Man, this is absolutely my favorite time of year when we get to talk some postseason.
Yeah,
I mean, the regular season is always fun. It's always grand. You see some performances, but it's not like postseason anything. Because when you're in the postseason, everything goes out the window.
This is my second favorite time of year, but definitely.
When's your favorite?
Wild card weekend in NFL.
Oh wow! Hey, yeah. I mean, that's probably my next favorite time because now we're getting into football. Yeah, football playoffs.
Yeah, but this is a fun time from always having something, like there's something to watch every night, which is fantastic, right? So,
but in a baseball season, it's 162 games. In the hockey, it's 82. Basketball is 82. Right? There's a lot of games.
Yeah,
And when you have the football season, it's 16.
Last night I watched I watched a baseball game, or part of the baseball game. I watched some basketball. I watched some hockey. It's kind of
it's like a feast. It's a smorgasbord.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah,
Nice way to pass the time.
absolutely.
Then the fall gets here, and then Sundays are dedicated to
Football.
sitting on the couch watching games.
That's another favorite time of year. Yeah.
This is a toss up for me. There's definitely ebbs and flows to it, but
It's right there in July and August usually that it's just
we might be on a little sabbatical
in that time period. Yeah, I have to agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then we come back.
Days of sports may not include Guys Beer Sports. Let's just say that. But we'll be back for the beginning of maybe the last preseason week or something. We'll be back for football, and then
Which is
full-fledged
yeah.
football. Because between college football and December is a great time for football, right? Between college wrapping up, pros, and so
Man.
always
Well,
fun.
Do you have a one-on-one question for me?
Yeah, you're not gonna like it though.
All right, let's hear it.
You ready?
Mm.
What are two normal things that you do that if you did them back to back would be considered weird?
What the? What?
Two normal things that you do, or you just could do them and it's like no one would bat an eye, but if you did them, back to back or simultaneously, they would be considered weird.
Dude, this is very psychological right now, and
I know you just gotta throw out whatever pops in your brain. It's a hard road.
That's not a very easy. I got this.
I mean, it could be, right? I mean, it's like drinking orange juice and brushing your teeth, right? Like it's a gross thing.
That's just disgusting. But you're not going to get a lot of
questions. You just drank orange juice, no one would say shit. And if you just brush your teeth, no one would care either, right? But if you do them back to back, you're not great either way.
Yeah, I think for me, it's so I like to. Wow, this is really gross. I like to empty the bowels before a shower because then I'm just you feel great.
Yeah.
But sometimes the smell when I'm showering is just never good, right? No, yeah, it's not. It's so it's nice to have two toilets because you could just run over to the other one and do what you got to do, and then come back and do your shower.
Yeah. Is there a worse thing than a post-shower poop?
Yes, that's the worst. That's the worst because now I feel like I got to do it again. So that to me, I think is if the flow doesn't happen properly, and then I have to go after, and it happens. It's my day's thrown off.
Yep. Just feel dirty all day long.
All day long.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting. So my one-on-one question to you, Brad, is Seattle Kraken are coming to town. What is your expectations for their their inaugural season? What are you expecting?
Sellouts every game.
Okay.
That's the floor. I don't really have expectations for them. I don't know. It's hard to say without knowing what the roster is.
Yeah, that's always difficult.
They go the expansion route, and they draft like the 15th player off every guy's bench, then they're gonna suck. You know what I mean? Like until we see what the roster is, it's hard to have expectations.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the instant rivalry you have with Vancouver.
Yeah, I'm
Colorado
hoping that back to normal by the time it kicks together.
I think so. Yeah, I think even Canada's moving that way. Yeah,
I'll be up in Vancouver to watch those games. It feels like an easy trip for me. I love me. I love rivalry games, right? And so something hard to get to for me most of the time, but that's definitely one that's easy to get to.
Well, I think I'll be in Toronto there very shortly. That's where Guys Beer Sports will be going from. But I think there could be something there coming up in the upcoming season. Maybe we can get together in Toronto or something like that, or even in Washington to do an episode. That'd be great.
Yeah, we'll do a little live looking one day.
That'd be super awesome. Yeah. All right, my man. I think this wraps it up. It's been fun. Ryan, thank you so much. That was awesome. I always have a good time.
Check Ryan out. Ryan's got a whole network of podcasts going. He talks about all kinds of cool stuff. It's the best of the worst, or worst of the best. I don't remember which one it is.
The best, no, the worst of the best.
Worst of the best.
The worst of the best.
It's a fantastic listen. Sorry for botching your name, Ryan, but he's got a bunch of stuff. He's got some Rocky stuff. He's so well spoken, right?
Yeah.
He's fascinating that he only roots for one team and not even a sport.
Just so childlike.
It's so pure. It's just so pure.
It's that bewilderment.
It's about one team and not anything else. That's fantastic. He's all in. He's not like a casual guy where he's like, oh, I like this team. Like he's all in. He's as all in on his teams as you and I are on. Well, he says I am on mine. You're not really all in on yours, but he's all in on that team. But he knows nothing. He doesn't care about the rest of the league. That's what he says.
Yeah,
I mean,
and it's true though. It's true.
He pays attention because he knows it's a bit of a ruse, right? Because he knows enough about. I think he pays attention at playoff time. He plays. I think that's what it ends up.
I think you have to listen for sure.
I don't disagree. But anyway. Thanks again to our sponsors, Flyers and Smooth My Balls. We are back next week. So until next time, kids, be good or be good at it.
Righto.
You've listened to the podcast, but now it's time to visit us in our virtual sports bar. Get all of our info at guysbeersports.com, where you can find all the ways to connect with us. Watch for live conversations with Brad and Sean that happen throughout the week, and join in with your favorite local beer. You can share your thoughts in the conversation comments with your own uploaded videos, or even join us as a guest live commentator. The GBS Virtual Sports Bar is open for business. Come on in, boys and girls.